Good
Get out.
morning. Good
Hi,
morning,
buddy.
everyone. Thank you for carving time out this morning to join our today's tech session with Dom and Tom. Happy Friday Eve to everyone here in Central PA. I see the sun is shining, so that's a step better than we were yesterday. Before I turn things over to Dom, I am going to give a quick shout out to our investors that are present with us on today's call or will be joining us at some point in time during today's call. Select Medical and DQE Communications. Thank you, thank you, thank you. If you represent one of those organizations, for your support for joining the call this morning, you are the reason that we can continue to do great and wonderful things like these. Without further ado, no one logged in this morning to listen to me, and we have a short session, so I'm going to keep it brief. I am going to turn it over to Dom so that Dom can take us away and tell us all about himself and Dom and Tom. Dom, it's up to you.
Thank you. And I want a big shout out to the TCCP. I just recently moved to Lancaster, Pennsylvania. I know I'm not pronouncing it properly, but someday I will. So thank you for hosting me. My name is Dom. I'm the founder of a digital product agency called Dom and Tom. And what we do is we help entrepreneurs, intrapreneurs, businesses of all shapes and sizes, small to medium businesses, enterprises, mid-markets, with their digital product strategy, their implementation, and anything to do with consulting and maintaining and supporting those ecosystems. I'm going to take you through some stuff, but please feel free to jump in, say, I have a question, I have this idea, or I have this concept, or how do you actually do that, or where do you get your people? Love questions. This is meant for you guys. Really, I just love talking tech. I've been doing this for 20 years, 20 something years, ever since my dad brought home a computer. And I do want to give a special shout out to a Dom and Tom alumni who's with us today, Devon Jackson. Hi, Devon.
Hi,
He
good morning or good afternoon from Dublin, Ireland. How you doing?
Devon's awesome, by the way, and is a big kind of like example of like how we view ourselves. Part of our philosophy is being like a family and staying in touch. And we met 15 years ago in acting. I got a degree in computer science and theater, if you can believe that, because I love learning, very curious mindset. And I love building things. And so working with my twin brother Tom, it's great to have an Italian family style business. We started to build this family and community of people who are big into creating digital technology. And so Devon joined it, I believe, is like an intern to a junior to a full-blown senior to a principal. He's incredible developer. And so we do believe like over time building like a great network of craftsmen and strategists. So now this is our 16th year. Our philosophy is mindset is do good, be good. Found this really neat hat that I like to wear that reminds me of that mantra. Because we're Eagle Scouts and we really do believe in building and crafting and designing, concepting, and all that fun stuff in technology. So I'll take you a little bit through the process and the approach of it. I'm definitely going to have a little bit of time and questions afterwards. Um, because there are, go to the next slide, my good man. Hold one moment. Can you guys see that? So, can you guys see my next slide? Results, driver mindset.
It says a note from our founders still.
This is a Zoom thing. I know this. One moment. Let me just take it to read mode. How about now? Switching slides.
Yeah.
Yay! Thank you, Devon. So we over time aren't just about building things to build, right? Businesses leverage technology, right? Wheels to get us to places. So for us, we're looking for any way that we can facilitate scaling, being competitively disruptive or dominating in some way the customer experience or the user experience, and also facilitating that automated workflow that might lift people out of the drudgery of like the day-to-day tasks. So since 2009, we try to find a way to build products that matter. And what does matter mean? It's not just about feeling good, it's also about creating some level of advantage that grows your business over time. We also like our in-house team, but we don't bring in a lot of overhead. So we really have a nice core team of leaders in product design, in technology, in strategy. And in doing that, we don't bring in like, oh, we've got to be embedded on site, et cetera, or we need to just throw bodies at the problem. We have like a nice outer ring of contractors sourced from all around the world that are great and experts at plumbing and electrical. No, they're great at front-end client-side application development, quality assurance, user experience, interface design. All of this network that we've built out in our community of family and friends over 16 years are great at coming in at the right time at the right moment, but also reducing that like cost basis of what it can take to build these products. These are big capital expenditures at sometimes it can be small or medium. And in doing that, we try to be mindful that these budgets are investments in the organization in order to help it grow, stay competitive and advantage, help out your team. I mean, there are investments we say when the back office process management systems, they help out your team grow as well so that they can do three jobs and also not be so stressed out with all the work that they're doing. And we try to make sure that these things are meaningful, that they're impactful in your organization. So tied to ROI, right? Return on investment is important. We want to make sure that the delivered marketing website has results attached to it, that it's improving traffic, awareness, these are, I like to say, employees that work 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You pay them once with a very little fee over time to host. And it is great that they are meant to dress well and represent your brand. They're meant to be there for your customers and approach. So, what does it take to make sure that that virtualized employee is at its best? So, we do focus on results. There's a bit of like the everything, but we try to core it out into four different areas. The first, and you'll see this in our process, is what is the strategy? What is the mindset of what we're here to do? Why? What is the big moment here? Is it pain? Is it opportunity? And there we have a couple of exercises that we can do. Anything from interviews with the core ICP, ideal customer persona, all the way through journey mapping, where they go. We have a field team application. How are they interfacing with this? Oh, they have no connectivity or low connectivity. So a syncing mechanism will be important to them. Understanding the KPIs, key performance indicators, and also what is the F&F? All of that strategy really boils down into two things. There's a lot of artifacts that can come out of it, but really the two things are what are your features and functionality, right? One little matrix. And the other is what is the product plan? What is the roadmap that we can release it out with? So now you can say, coming out of this, I know what I want, it's my vision, who it's for, and I know what it would take in order to deliver that over time. And I don't have to deliver all of it. Maybe I'm just here for a coffee. Maybe I'm here for a 5-course meal, but you know what you can get over time. Love coffee. Next one is user experience. So this is important to understand really two main aspects again, not 20. What is your visual branding? What is your identity? How do you represent yourself and your company in a digital ecosystem? Okay. If there's a design system library, it can be applied to multiple products. We call these products websites, mobile applications, an automated workflow that takes an email, does a task, and then sends it back to Slack. These are all products. So, what is the verbiage? What is the user interface? What is the color, topography, fonts, all that fun stuff? Once we get that identified, some of it you come to the table with. Most companies have a brand and an identity. Great. We don't have to do as much work in there. Some startups come in with sketches. Okay, we've got to, build the logo and understand what that is. And then the other aspect is really the user experience, the UX. And that is the like, how do we get the onboarding flow? Is there a notification system? What are the core features that a user has? So we have a podcast player for like a data syndication platform around the world. But when they move their thumb on top of that interface, that thumb is right over that's, 15 seconds before, 15 seconds after a play button. It's a bit of an interface. How do they go filter or search? When does it make sense? And is that a joyous experience that gets them to like use the experience and application? Or is that kind of like, this is something we want to just set and forget? Okay, if we want to set and forget it, let's not have it there all the time unless they want to navigate back. So these are the things that we come together with. I say, because my core is really engineering and production. I love this part. This is the coding part. I say by the time we go from design to engineering, we want to suck out all ambiguity from the room. We want, okay, so we want to make sure we know before we put hands to keys, what are the views? What is the logic? And where is it going to live? How is it going to work? And you've got your core and you've got your context. Okay. I got this from a really great book, The Unicorn Project and The Phoenix Project. If you're really interested in like what it's like to see a burning building get, fixed and rehabilitated in the engineering space, The Phoenix Project is just a great read. So in The Phoenix Project, you'll see the core. What is it you need to develop that is proprietary to you? I need to make my website. But the context is I don't need to make a website builder, right? I don't need to build a custom content management system. I don't need to build an e-commerce platform. That's your context. I need this, but I don't want to build it because other people have developed those third-party plugins, that full ecosystem. So here we try to like work in that strategy and definition, user experience, identifying the core things that need to be built, React Native and Swift, great, we've identified that, to like what third-party dependencies do we need to wrangle? We'll say we love wrangling kittens and wrangling cats and bringing them together so that they can all be plugged in, save you time, save you money, save you from having to develop the context. Now, I've inherited stuff over the years from all around the world, our agency has, that have been a lot of core. And we go, you didn't need to build all this. I'm glad you learned how to do that. And it was fun for you, but you didn't need to. You could have saved time and money by focusing on your core and then leveraging those contexts all around the world. Because us technologists, we believe in harmony and flow, removing FUD so that we can develop and deliver, getting rid of anxiety. That's how we like build great work. And that's why we like plan all this stuff out. This is like a mantra that I like incept into my team and how we can create these things. But to get to the specifics on engineering, we develop mobile applications using, best in class, I want to say, but really it's just top of the line technology that people around the world do. We're agnostic to stack, as we call it the stack, because it's stacked technologies. So we do HTML and CSS, I'm sure you're familiar with, but then a whole host of languages from PHP, .NET, Ruby on Rails, Python. We don't focus on one specific stack because I believe we should go to where our clients are and see what they're working with and how we can best implement that work. So sometimes it's NetSuite, sometimes it's Salesforce, sometimes it's a Wix site or a Webflow site. Technology keeps changing. We need to be adaptive to that in order to bring the best in class to our clients. We do implement these solutions. We also do quality assurance so that we have testing to make sure in our test plans and test cases they're done well. And then we go and, we do user acceptance testing. And that's where we define what was this the reality? Are we validating your expectations? Is this good for delivery? Very last thing I want to bring up on this, like capabilities, is really because this slide, I get bored with slides, we got to move on, is infrastructure. Infrastructure DevOps, we started about 8 years ago. So we started with development historically. We expanded into design very quickly. Then we expanded into strategy. So we went upstream in order to like provide the best kind of assurance that we could deliver impact. We couldn't do it if we were just developers. We didn't have enough like seat at the table, which is fine, but also hard. So infrastructure is the last part. And infrastructure allows us to build those automated like hosting experiences for deployments, for security, stability, things like that. And we work across Amazon, Google Cloud, Azure. It really depends. WP Engine. It's great. We try to find the right hosting experience for you so that it facilitates like the uptime, security, and stability experience. Um, Client rosters, love my clients. They're all amazing, very friendly with enterprise like Bloomberg, big media companies, ratings groups, commercial groups like McDonald's and Tyson. We build sometimes ad hoc agency to agency work, but it's great. And what I really say is that it's a mixture of everyone. Like we do enterprise, we do mid-markets, we do startups. We really like to foster like a brain trust that you can come back to. I have a client, Columbia University. I haven't worked with them in 6 years. Reach out and say, hey, we've got the team. We're now doing this part of our mobile application. Do you have the web code? 10 minutes later, here's the repository. Here's what we have, just so you know, needs to be updated. Hasn't been touched in a few years because we delivered, but it's ready for you. So my parents are lawyers. Same with, my twin brother, Tom. Our parents are lawyers, and they hold on to documents for many years for a client. They like taught me that code is important, so it might be good to like keep that around for a while, not just delete and throw it away. So sometimes, and same with all artifacts, design, specifications. And that's not the only client who's ever reached out. And I really do believe like, oh, that gives me a warm heart that like we can be a good brain trust over time. Just a little bit of the process, right? We talked about the what and the who. This is how we look at things. And so when you think about your products, whatever you have in your company that involves digital, if it's website's the easiest one to go to because it's so ubiquitous. And what is the major feature of a website, right? The contact form, of course, right? Like talk to me. It's people who want to hire you, work with you, or work for you. And then everyone else who wants to know about you, right? That's your two core user groups. Main feature is your content, right? Explaining yourself, what this is, and what's interesting about you. So when we take that concept of like a product, we first start with a defined stage. And this is pre-contract, pre-engagement. We get together and we say, what are we doing? What is this? Do you need a team to rescue? Do you need a team to ideate? Do you need a team to implement? Right. Then we go into discovery. We come out of that phase, by the way, with a proposal. Classic statement of work. Master service agreement if we think it's going to be a hopefully a long-term relationship or whatever it needs to be. Then we go into discover. We like our discoveries kind of explained a little bit of those exercises that we come through. Discovery can range, just to give you an idea of like specifics, from 1 day, 2 days to 2 weeks. I don't really think I've ever seen a discovery in 16 years go beyond 6 weeks. Because after 6 weeks, you're like, guys, I think we got a couple of products here. My favorite recent discovery, CEO came in, C-suite. We rented, well, we had a meeting room right next to their core offices, and he just took out a whiteboard and marked it up, and he didn't stop speaking. And it was 2 days. We were done. It was so brutally efficient. We loved it. So discovery can be as much as you can bring to the table to understand what your product is. So to help prep for discovery in the defined stages, get all those ambiguity aspects into the table, get all your ideas out. We call that divergent thinking. And then we try to do convergent thinking when we get to the end of discovery. All the ideas are here. Let's bring it to the implementation of a product. And we go into the design phase. Very familiar interface designs, wireframes. We iterate on those, get feedback, feedback, feedback. Sometimes we branch off into user testing so we can get user feedback. So our philosophy involves like technology, users, and business. The design phase can take minimum 2 weeks. That's an aggressive design stage. Sometimes to 8 weeks. So we think in terms of sprints. Technologists love sprinting and iterating as we sprint. But really, it's about like this phase-based approach I'm a big fan of. So we're in the design phase. That could be 2 to 6, sometimes 8 weeks. Good would be like 6 to 8. Depends on the product size. It all depends. My favorite phrase, it depends. Then we go to the development phase. Depends again how long it takes. And then deployment. And that deployment could be a day, could be 2 weeks. It really depends on what your staging environment is, what your production environment is. So now you know a little bit of like the services available, you know about who the team is, you know a little bit about the process you might be in. We might be deployed on site and say, hey, I need help with deployment on this specific area. Everyone is stuck. Can you unstick it? Or I've got the cart in the mud. I need development. Just bring the development in. This is development engagement. Great. We still bring in that strategy and mindset and consulting. We don't want to throw bodies at a problem. Other people do that. I don't like it. It's not my style. Activities in it. This is really in the weeds. Okay. If anybody has questions, now's a good time to let me sip some water. Okay. We plan out sprints. We put them into the flow. Usually it's 2 weeks. We like to demo work product so that you can at time tune it, tweak it. We always have a weekly executive status, 30 minutes. Nobody wants too many meetings on the books. And then every quarter, we like to see if there's like a business review. That's generally for like long-term retainers. So we have accounts on average 6 years, give or take. Our longest account is year one, still with us, 16 years. He managed 3 of his products. He's never hired a CTO, never hired a VP of engineering, never hired a designer, just has us on retainer maintaining his products. And we've seen his business just up and to the right. Love that guy. A little bit of like alignment, technology, business users, right? Business has to figure out if it's viable to invest in this, users, if it's desirable. And technology has one thing. Is this feasible? Can we make this happen? And that's like how we do it in discovery. We try to get a nice alignment. Familiar with the output. Sometimes we do research and competitive analysis. We try to understand what your visual language is. And of course, I love doing specifically the tech research. Oh, you want to do an AI implementation with the RAG pipeline? Exciting. How would we do this? Um, our design output. So these are a bit of examples of deliverables. Wireframes, no UI. We do not want to bias you. We're focused completely, our UI is in like a visual identity, branding, look and feel. We're really focused on like, let's understand this workflow, that user journey. A little bit of look and feel, right? Comping, mood boarding, and then of course the end design product. We love using Figma. Translates very efficiently to development, and it's also great to prototype. And we're experimenting right now with some one-shots on Lovable or V0. If you guys haven't done that yet, highly recommend checking out Lovable or V0. We take some of our Figma designs, shoot them out in there, and now you can actually click and interface with it. And Figma's now doing a bit more with AI, and we're evaluating the code work, but I'm working on some pipeline workflows and that. It's really exciting stuff. And the development, all I can show you is icons. It's lots of code. It's quality code. We have ways to make sure linters that like make sure the code is good. We do code reviews, pull requests, things like that. I love the code. The exciting thing for the clients really is those demos. Sometimes they're weekly in the executive status. Sometimes they're every 2 weeks. That's when you actually see the output. And then you get to say, actually, do we really need a volume bar when we have a scrubber and the same color? Like, can we remove that? Sometimes it's a change work order, but I like to say we can sprinkle in that kind of stuff as like adjustments as we go. A little bit of the quality assurance process. Test plans, we have a test plan. We build a bunch of test cases. We implement those. Ding, 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 ding. Our QA is rigorous and they really, who watches the Watchmen, right, of the developers? The answer is more Watchmen watch the Watchmen. And who watches those Watchmen? Me, basically, to make sure that it passed QA, passed testing, right, Devon? I'm a hawker. I love looking at the tools and making sure everything's up to date and running, that our branches are clean, our code is good, everything flows. A bit of our tool suite. This is not about tools. This is about communication. How do we communicate? So we communicate state of product, and we have 4 principles of production. Do you remember what they are, Devon? The principles of production.
Uh, do I remember
All
uh,
4 principles of production.
all the principles of production? Gosh, I didn't know I was gonna be put on the spot here.
I'll give you a hint. GSD is the first one. We get stuff done. All
Get
right.
stuff done. That's right. That's
Remember
right.
that one. Visibility is reality, right? If you don't see it in teamwork, if you don't see it in our tools, if we've never done a daily status meeting together, there's no visibility is reality. I'll share the other two, but we'll have a joke afterwards. The other two are tools over oral history. This is important, but you are all a bunch of C-suites. You're very busy. Who wants another meeting? This is gold. Tools, though, make that meeting more efficient, right? So we prefer tools. And the last principle of production is work product is more important than utilization. A lot of agencies want to give you bodies, and that's their style. Maybe that's all you need. We focus on the work product. I'd love to know what we're doing, why we're doing it, and keeping that at heart whenever we develop. And that work product, it's greater than. It's not that utilization isn't important. We always need to be getting things done. We should be getting things done, but like work product is really takes priority. Let's make sure we keep the work in mind. So these are our tools. Time tracking is harvest. Allocation is forecast. Clients don't get access or need that. They get reports, burn reports as needed. Always have access to Slack as a team, teamwork as a team. And we do go into people's houses if they need that. Lastly, we love using GitHub, CI/CD actions for deployments. And we do like to work in a client's ecosystem when it comes to hosting, comes to task management if they prefer. I like to say you should have the meal as if it was made in your own kitchen. And we are simply like the ghosts that come in and out and build everything out for you. A lot of user testing process. Essentially, we do love doing use discovery interviews. We like getting feedback from those users. It can be a misstep. What we do is we do screeners to know that we're getting the right ICP. So we have a bit of a screener first. We only need 5 to 7. Just a little something to note. If you've got a product or an idea, get up to 5 to 7 pieces of feedback. Ideally, it's guided so that you can take like 30 minutes to an hour with a product or an idea. If you can get 5 to 7 bits of feedback on your product or process, you now are going to see the same kind of feedback come up. Incorporate that, do it again. Mention the communication. We love planning every 2 weeks, exec status, demos, retros. I mean, I would give you like the case study and stuff, but really, guys, I the dogs and the ponies are always fun. I'm gonna leave the next 240 seconds. Is that right? To questions. You guys have any questions? Comments? Stories? Does anyone have a single digital product that they go, hey, Dom, question about that? And I don't have access to the chat, so if anybody's asking me anything, you would have to unmute. Let me take a look at that. Oh my God, there's a couple of things in the chat. Oh, everyone just said hello. That's great. Other than that, I think I've got a bit of a like a nice fun one-sheeter, how you can take concepts into production. But my name is Dom, and yeah, I don't really have much more to say, guys. So if you need anything, easy to reach out, Dom at domandtom.com. I'm also new to Lancaster. So feel free to reach out. I hope to see you guys at events, and yeah, just really excited to chat with you guys today.
Thanks so much, Dom. I'm going to chime in and give everybody just an opportunity to ask any questions or provide any feedback. While you're percolating, I will let you know that, as usual, I will get a follow-up email out to everyone following today's session. We are recording today's session, so I'll get the Dom's contact information and a link to the session so that you can rewatch or revisit anything that you might need to. And then reach out to Dom directly with his contact information for any follow-ups, questions, chats, all of that good stuff. But thank you again, Dom, really informative. Love the great work that you're doing. Love your energy. So thank you for the influx of energy on a Thursday morning. I'm sure we can all use it. Thank you to all of you for dialing in this morning. I know that it's a crazy busy time of year, but this is the bread and butter. This is what it's about, right? Understanding what solutions exist in Central PA and Lancaster to be able to meet local needs and help out. Beyond that, that's what I have. There's a couple comments in the chat, Dom, just about it was great to learn about your company. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. So everybody is appreciative of your efforts this morning. I hope that everybody has a wonderful rest of the day today. Stay safe and enjoy the last little bits of the summer.
Alexis, thank you so much. Reese, shout out. Marianne, shout out. Devon, you're awesome.
Good to see you, man. Good to see you. Talk to you soon.
Ciao, everyone.